Hi guys, thanks for coming back to my channel. No makeup. Okay, so I'm getting ready to do a 90s inspired makeup look, which features like matte brown and like a brown lip and just, you know, kind of like that 90s grunge sort of feel. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so if y'all are wondering where I got these little hair clips, I got them off wish.com and they come in a pack of other colors. They were like $2 for this whole pack. So you get orange, black, pink, green, and then the bone color. So if in case y'all were gonna ask, I just go ahead and I'll let you know. So first I'm gonna start off using the Skindinavia primer spray. And this is just a primer, so I'm just gonna spray my face. I've already moisturized. So this is a spray primer and I like it because it's a lot in there and I don't have to rub it all over. I just squirt it. It's quick and fast. You just gotta let it dry for a second though. So what I'm going to be using today for my foundation is a sample of the Giorgio Armani foundation. I think this is the Luminuous one, I'm not sure, but this is in the color 8.5 and they gave it to me at Sephora. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. It has I've used it before. It has really good coverage and it's not very thick, so it's kind of lightweight, but it does do coverage well. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this foundation. And it's a little orangey for me right now, but when I put my powder and highlight on, it looks great. So I tend to try to go for a little bit darker foundation during the spring and the summer, so I don't look too light or ashy, because the sun does tan my skin during this season. So I can't wear the same foundation that I was wearing unless I darken it up with some colors. But this is just a sample for me to try out, so I went ahead and got this darker color already so I didn't have to adjust it. I'm really liking it because it's not as thick as most full coverage foundations, but it does have that full coverage feel to it. And it's not very heavy. So if you like a light, medium to full coverage foundation that's not going to feel cakey, this is probably a good one to try or to sample out. And they give you a lot in this sample. Like, I've already used this one time and I still have enough for about 4 or 5 more applications. So if you're just on a budget and you're like, hey, I want some new foundation, but I don't have any money today, just go to Sephora and ask for a free sample. Okay, you can get high-end makeup for free. Okay. I don't know if you have to purchase anything. I didn't purchase anything. I just went in there. But the person I was with purchased something, so I don't know. Anyway, so this is how it looks with just one layer, and I'm very satisfied with this. So now I'm going to go ahead and put on my brows. I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly HIls Dip Brow Pomade, of course. This is my new favorite eyebrow, because you can't overdo this one. Like, even if you try to draw it on super dark, it's gonna lighten up. It's not gonna turn into, like, you know, Oscar the Grouch on you. It's going to stay the color that it is. It's not going to get super dark. So I'm happy about that, because sometimes I tend to overdo my brows and then I have to wipe it off and start all over. This stuff, don't have to do that. Okay, so I usually, my eyebrows really need to be done, y'all, and I cannot get mine waxed because I have really soft skin and the wax will just pull off my skin, y'all. So I have to get threaded. And I don't like getting plucked, because sometimes your eyebrows will not grow back if you get them plucked too much. So I had to get mine threaded, or I'll just shave it off with the little eyebrow shaver, because I can't do wax. I tried many times, different places, high-end places, low-end places. They're all the same. I can't do wax. I don't know why. Just my skin is just too delicate. Okay, so in the 90s they had those bushy brows, or they had the shaved off brows. So whichever one you were in the 90s, that's what you're gonna choose to kind of go with. I was the bushy brow. Actually, I had the shaved off eyebrows, y'all, and I drew them up higher. But today I'm gonna be the bushy eyebrow. I went through many brow stages in my life. I even went through a stage where I almost got them tattooed on, and I'm so glad that I did not, because the eyebrow styles change. And if you're tattooed, if your eyebrow is not a classic shape, then you might feel like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have tattooed myself. My mom got hers tattooed on, but hers isn't a classic art shape. And she doesn't really wear makeup. She just wanted eyebrows. So it's not really that noticeable. It looks really natural on her. But I don't think I would ever get an eyebrow tattoo, because I like drawing my eyebrows in, and plus I like changing the shape of them. And just never thought I wanted a tattoo on my brows. At first I used to get tired of drawing them in, but now it's just like, it's fun for me. It's like my meditation time. It's like and it also gives you a chance to be creative as well. Like, dang, your eyebrows. Y'all, I was doing eyebrows before people were doing eyebrows. Like in high school, no one would really do their brows unless they shaved them off and drew them back in with a pencil. I was doing my eyebrows like this in high school with the, at first we just used powder or eyeshadow and stuff like that. But most people didn't do their eyebrows back then. There was just, they forgot about them. Unless they were like in the makeup industry, but there wasn't really a big deal back in the 90s. So now it is. I gotta make sure these things are right. Anyway, I will fix them later if they are a little off. So now I'm gonna go in with my primer. Okay, that looks okay. I'm gonna go with my primer. And I don't even think they had primer back then. In the 90s, they just put some concealer on their eyes and called it a day. Okay, but now they have all this fancy stuff, so we can use it just to make our look better. So they had brown. Brown was like the go-to in the 90s. If you didn't have brown makeup, you weren't cool. So I'm gonna use my Tartelette palette, and I'm gonna, because these have a lot of good matte browns that I can use. So what we did was we did like a cream color, then a brown, and then a highlight. So I'm gonna take this color in Wanderer right here. I'm gonna do the base of my lid. This is exactly how I used to do it in high school, y'all. I get a color like this, go on the base of my lid. It was simple back then, and we didn't use brushes. Well, I did. I used brushes because I was like trying to be fancy, but back then they just used the little applicator. Okay, so now I always use brushes though, as soon as I could get my hands on some. So now I'm gonna go in this color called Multitasker, and it's just a medium brown color on my skin tone, but it might be a dark brown color if you're lighter. So I'm just gonna go in my crease. They didn't do a lot of fancy stuff back then, so I'm just gonna go like this, like a windshield wiper. Do a little bit like that. If you wanted to get fancy back then, you put a little bit right here. Okay. Yes, windshield wipe. Okay, I'm gonna do the same to the other side. And you could actually do a more reddish brown as well and still get away with it. Like a toastier brown. If you were a lighter skin tone. The darker skin tones would have to get the darker or medium browns. So this is kind of the colors that I used. And then you could go over it with a toasty brown. Do I have one in this palette? I don't know if I have a toasty brown in that palette. Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into my Too Faced Chocolate Bonbon, and then there's like this toasty color called Bordeaux, and it's kind of a wine brown. And I'm gonna take my fluffy brush and just dab a little bit and go over that brown, and this is gonna lighten it up to a toasty brown for me and my skin tone. That's what my mom's called. Sorry y'all, my mom called. So okay, so I'm going back into Bordeaux, and I'm going into the crease again with my fluffy brush and just blending these two colors together. This is gonna give you a very toasty, like 90s brown look. So okay, so now, okay, so they didn't do a lot of shimmer back in the 90s, so you're gonna have to stick with matte. And so for my lid, my highlight, I'm gonna use, and they didn't do super light highlights back then, and if they did, it was like when you dressed up. So I'm just gonna go in, this is called Super Mom, and it's just a creamy color. It's not too bright and it's not too, you know, brown, so it's gonna just look really natural on that highlight up there, and it's matte, so you can kind of pile it on without having to worry about, you know, glowing in the dark. The lighter up here the better, or the more opaque up there the better. That's how they wore it, really opaque. Okay, and then we're just gonna blend in a second after I get this color on both sides, and then clean it up on the edges. So I have a makeup wipe, and I'm just gonna clean it up on the edges just a little bit, just to give it that, you know, cleaned up look. And if you want to go underneath, like your for eyeliner with like a little brush with eyeshadow, you can, but they really didn't do that back then too much. They kind of just use regular eyeliner, but I'm gonna go ahead and use the powder eyeliner eyeshadow to just line my lower lid. And liner, especially liquid liner, was really big back then. So, and they didn't really do a cat eye. They didn't really extend it out too much, just barely. You just had to have it on straight. That was like the main thing back in the 90s. So I'm gonna use my Makeup Forever liner and ink and try to get this line up here. Oh wait, let me blend this in a little bit better, because I want it to look, you know, authentic. So I'm just go ahead and blend this color, and right there where the transition line is, just a little more. And there's nothing on this brush. It's pretty much clean. I'm just blending this together so it doesn't look so harsh. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the liquid liner. And y'all, my mom is on the way. She's stopping by unexpectedly, so if you hear my dog barking, you know that she's at the door. Okay. So they didn't do them super thick back then, unless it was like done on purpose. So just for the normal everyday look, it was just a thin line across your lid. You didn't wing out. It was just, you just go barely out, just a little smidge. And they didn't wear a lot of falsies back then, so this is all you would do basically. They didn't wear a lot of falsies back then, so you didn't have like that dramatic lash. You just did a bunch of mascara and that was supposed to be good enough. I did wear lashes every now and then, like on special occasions. That's the only time they wore lashes in the 90s, during special occasions. So you could dress this look up with the lashes if you want to be authentic to the 90s. I'm not going to be putting on lashes today. Maybe, I don't know. I'll think about it when I get there. I don't think I will because I have to go to the gym later. And you know, I don't want people to think I'm trying to catch a man at the gym, because you know, people that wear makeup to the gym are like, oh, what is she doing? You're trying to get a man. Okay, so this is pretty much it. And then you get your mascara. Where's my mascara? I took it out. There you go. I'm gonna use the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. Back then we just used Great Lash. Okay, so that's probably my mom. But let me go ahead. Okay, y'all, so that was my mother. She came through for a little while and brought my daughter some gifts and me some gifts, which is always so nice. And, you know, she stayed and talked for a little while, but they were on their way home, so they had to go. She got me some very nice crystal wine glasses, and I was like, thank you so much. I did not unpack them out of the box because we're getting ready to move in like a couple of months, and I don't want to bother repacking them. And we really don't have that much company in our house except for like during the holidays, and so I just left them in the box, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave them there until we move and I can put them up in our new house. So that's cool. Unless we really need them, I can, you know, I can always break them out if there's a special occasion and we do need some nice wine glasses, but I don't think we'll be needing them anytime soon. It's like spring and summer. So I'm just getting my bottom lashes really good. I'm just really playing up my mascara because, you know, we used a lot of mascara back then. Okay, now we didn't really contour back then, but I can't live without my contouring now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do a light contour just so I can say I have a little one. Now we did do blush. Okay, we did do blush. I'm just gonna contour right there so I have a more chiseled supermodel look, because that's what everybody wanted to be, like a supermodel back in the 90s. That the supermodels were like the most famous women out there at the time, like Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, Claudia Schiffer, Kate Moss, stuff like that. So we had to, like, instead of contouring, we just starved ourselves so we could get that look. Little did we know about contouring could make you look like 10 pounds thinner. Instead, girls would just starve themselves. It was really bad back in the 90s. The anorexic look was like really popular. And I'm just going to go ahead and blend. Yeah, because of the skinny supermodels and the popularity of like fashion models and supermodels were like really high at the time, so everyone's like mentor or person who they looked up to was like super thin. So that's how kind of like the like big spike in eating disorders and stuff happened. So I never went through that, y'all, as y'all could tell. I was like, I still look good. I don't care. I'm not starving myself. Okay. So actually, when I was like 19, I did go on like this really big diet, and I lost like a lot of weight, and I was thin, and that only lasted 2 years. Then I met my husband, and he fattened me back up. So anyway, so this is basically what you have. Now I'm gonna go in for the blush. We didn't wear lots of pink blushes. We wore either really natural shades or brown. So I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. contouring blush and bronzer and Turks and Caicos, and I'm gonna use this color since I've already got a contour. This is gonna look darker than it does in the thing, and it has a little sparkle to it, which is fine. It's just gonna give me a glow, a little glow. It's not much, but it's just gonna give me that toasty brown 90s blush look that everyone was wearing. Or you could do like a berry look, like a berry blush, but I'm choosing that. Okay, so they didn't really do too much blush back then. It was just psh, there. Okay, concealer, they did do concealer back then, but not a highlight. They didn't do highlight. They just did concealer under their eyes to get the darkness away. So I'm just gonna go right under my eye. I'm not gonna do that little triangle that I always do because that is not authentic to a 90s look. Just a little. Now powder was very popular back then. You had to be powdered down, matted down. It's all about the matte. It's all about the matte face. So I'm just gonna go under my eyes with this NYC banana powder just to set my concealer. Then I'm gonna go in with my Naked Studio Fix by Too Faced, and what color is this? I don't know. Anyway, it's by Urban Decay. Sorry, not Too Faced. And this is a counterfeit one that I got off Wish.com. So just so y'all know. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and just put this all over my face and just cake my face up with powder, because that's what they did back in the 90s. They just, in fact, that's when like MAC became really popular and people just caked out their face with the Studio Fix powder. That was it. Okay. It smells good. Okay, so I'm gonna powder up. Can't have any shine. Shine was the enemy. You have to be matte, super matte. The matter, the better. Okay. So, no glitter, no highlight, no anything. There. Okay. I'm just gonna take my brush and just brush off the excess powder. Okay. Then, what you needed was a lip liner. Okay. Everybody wore lip liner back in the day. If you didn't have lip liner, something was wrong with you. Okay. I'm just gonna put this on like to moisturize. Okay, and this also plumps your lips, because plump lips were starting to get big in the 90s. That's when they started to really push plump lips. So they didn't have like too many lip plumpers back then, but now they do. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. Okay, so I'm just like putting this in. So anyways, yeah, we're getting ready to have our house built. We're going to have a house built, and it's going to take a few months for it to be built, so that's why we have to wait to move. Okay, so I'm taking this color, I don't know, what is this? I don't even know what this is. I think it's by Kleancolor, and it's in the color Cappucino. It's just a light brown liner that I'm just going to use. Now, nudes were really popular back then, but browns were like very fashionable. So like if you were gonna go to work, you could wear a nude, and if you're going out or like you just want to look extra cute, you'd wear a brown. So I line my lips. Now I'm gonna be using this Lime Crime counterfeit again. And these were $2 on Wish.com, y'all, and they work like, oh my god, the real deal. So this is going to be in the color Salem, and the color is just a little bit, a lot of people say it's a little bit off, but I like the color just the way it is. It's not too dark and it's not too light. So I'm going to go ahead and put this over my lip plumper, and this was the color that everyone sought after in the 90s. This reminds me of the color Toast of New York by Revlon, except yeah, this is the color it reminds me of. Or there's another one by L'Oreal, and I forgot the name of it, but it was this color. It's like their old classic shades. So And of course plaid was really big back then, like in the Clueless era and the grunge era. So you'd have your plaid, your brown lips, your matte face, and you try to draw your lips on bigger too, because that was a thing back then. That's when it all started. Okay, I know because I was there. That's how old I am. Okay, so this is basically it, you guys. That's all you have to do in the 90s. Shoot, that was easy back then. You didn't have to do much. Just put on some brown eyeshadow, some mascara, some quick liquid liner, some natural blush, and some brown lips, and you were set. This was it. Okay, so, and bangs are really hot like that too. So this is your 90s inspired look, and when this dries it's going to be matte, because it was all about the matte lips back in those days. The matter the better. Like, they didn't have a lot of matte lipstick, so sometimes we had to make our own matte with powder and just put a tissue over our regular lipstick, blot it, and then just put like translucent powder. And yeah, that's how we did it. Now, they didn't have a finishing spray back then, so you just have to carry your powder in your pocket or in your purse and just keep reapplying. And that's probably where the term cake face came in from the 90s, because we literally had to keep reapplying makeup because it would not stay. So I'm going to be using the Skindinavia makeup finishing spray in Bridal, because it's supposed to last 16 hours and waterproof your makeup. Okay, you're supposed to be able to sweat, and like I said, I'm going to the gym later. You're supposed to be able to sweat, cry, and be in humidity, and it's still supposed to last. So I'm going to go ahead and spray my face. I'm doing extra because I'm going to the gym later. Don't judge me. Okay, this is kind of like the MAC Studio Fix Plus spray. And if y'all want the links to order Skindinavia, I'll put a link below where you can get like 10% off, as well as a free sample of a small purse size spray. Okay, yes. So after that dries, you're set. And this is your 90s grunge brown look that you can sport. And that's it. Now, this is not going to be this shiny when it dries. It's still just a little wet. And I like this look. Is just like really grungy. Like, you could braid some of your hair up, do a braid right here, you know, wear some plaid and some jeans and, like, you know, stuff like that, and you'd be like totally 90s chic. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was really fun recreating a 90s look, because this is exactly how I used to do my makeup in high school. And I think I do it a lot better now, because back then I did not know about blending or eyebrow perfection or eyebrow anything. I would just comb them and try to draw them in the best I could, and one was crooked. Anyway, I did have bangs like this though during the 90s. I had this exact same hairdo in the 90s with my real hair, because y'all know this is a wig, but this is how I used to wear my hair in high school. It's so funny. And this is exactly how I looked in the 10th grade, you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thumbs up if you are a 90s baby. I mean, if you are a 90s teenager, and you or if you just love the 90s and how they look and their dress and everything, thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later.